Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone tuning in tonight is getting ready to mow down on some Thanksgiving dinner. Tomorrow, that is. We're here at the studio in Los Angeles, California, and I realized that I've never actually introduced any of you to our studio here in the city. So, in case you've never seen a studio before, I'm going to kind of show you around, show you what we think about while we're in here and some of the things that we do. So if you will, get ready to walk around with me. Because here is the lovely hallway. And here is the lovely studio. Generally, when you walk into a studio, you have a room like so. Just kind of hang out, put your shoes in, have a seat, see some anatomy stuff. Leave your shoes in there. Don't walk into the Pilates studio with the shoes on. It's rather rude. And then this is it. This is the main room here. One of them. Over there we have there's known as the ladder barrel. We'll come back to all this stuff in a second. Over here, these are called wonder chairs. Come on, you can focus. Maybe, maybe not. You'll get there. All right. Over here we got punching bags and weights. Those things are pretty self-explanatory. These over here are called baby chairs. We sometimes use these, a few older folks or younger folks. Kind of depends on what they need. Here, these are called the reformers. These are what everyone tends to know about Pilates when they walk into a studio, things that go back and forth. We'll get back to that later. This is called the Cadillac. These nice bars up here. I guess you go around. Weight training over here, some more dumbbells, some accessories up here in the corner. A beautiful kitchen over here. I think it's beautiful. And bathroom over there. Of course, who can forget the lovely named electric chairs? Those are rather fantastic themselves. We'll play on that. But I think more than anything else, the one thing you really need to take away from all this stuff in this room, whether it's the electric chair, whether it's a Cadillac, this one's on the floor. For really short people, whether it's the reformer, if it is the baby chair, or back over to the barrel, even though that is round, every piece of equipment in this room is squared off. So that way, when you walk in and you're moving on equipment, trying to get an exercise in, especially with an instructor like myself, we can see right away the imbalances in your body and the things that you need to work on, or things that we think you might need to work on. So that's one of the beautiful things about this work. It's part of what makes my job a lot easier, is that the equipment does the work for you. Some would say that the equipment is meant to be used as if Joe Pilates himself was guiding you. I don't know about that, but I guess it's a nice sentimental thought to have. Alright. So the other night I said we were going to do some Pilates with the old video game chair that I have. When I say old, I mean like this shit is literally being held together with some duct tape. And if you don't think it's that old, just look at this banging audio in and out compartment. Just fantastic. So we're going to use this a little bit later as a substitute for Pilates equipment that you might not have at home. One of the advantages I have of being here. Yeah, man, that chair, it's I rocked two of my babies in that chair. So we're gonna get going here, and you know, honestly, I had a workout planned, and wasn't necessarily feeling it completely. So I think we're just gonna kind of hang out and see where the night goes. But yeah, Josh, how are you tonight? What's going on? I know you said there's a bit of a delay, so I'll wait a little bit. Nice and warm in here. Ready for a long week? Me too, man. Much needed. You today, tomorrow, and the rest of the weekend off? Wait, hold on. So, I'm not really expecting a lot of people to tune in tonight since it is the night before Thanksgiving. But, you never know. We'll see what happens. Too much cooking? Yeah, well. How are the kids? Are they tuning in to watch what I do with the video game chair that I commandeered from the living room? Alright. So, I really don't know if it's responsible for me to turn the word so into a drinking game, but we're going to do that anyway. And I also think that, you know, you can make it hydration, right? We all got to hydrate, so there, drink. Alright. We're just on the reformer, because I don't really know what else to do. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Talking to you. You talking to me? Fucking talking to me? Alright. Well, if you watched the other night and you want to follow along with some of this with me, you can do it. Ah, Jeopardy. That's fine. Are they getting any of the answers right? If so, that would be very, very impressive. Alright. Listen, I don't really know why, but for whatever reason, I'm in a bit of a funk today. So I'm really just going to kind of breathe and start moving through this workout. I'm going to start with a little footwork. If you want to follow along, put your heels together and toes apart. Inhale, press out, and return. 2. The only thing I can think of is it's not as sunny as it normally is here in California, which I know sounds like a weird thing to whine about since it's not that cold and I'm still working out in shorts, but just a lot of shit going on. 8, 9, 10. Put your arches on here, curl those toes over. 2. I gotta say, actually, Josh, I think that chair is about 20 years old. 8. We're going to 10. This is 9 and 10. Heels on here. Flex. 2, 3. If you follow along with the one in the chair the other night, any of those exercises that you saw seated, you can do the footwork like that. 7, 8, 9, 10. All 10 toes on here, heels, heel, toes apart, and press out, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. Now return. From here, I'm going to keep all 4 springs on and grab my handles for the 100. And go ahead and put my headrest down for the next exercise. Going up. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Sounds right. I just found that. Layla stole your Stussy shirt. Grounded. Unacceptable. Do you ever think we'd have clothes old enough to come back into style? Fucking weird, man. Let's call it overhead. On the floor, we call this jackknife. Apparently Joe Pilates was really into knives. I just completely made that up. I've been thinking about starting a weekly fake facts night about things that Joe Pilates didn't actually say or didn't actually create, just to see how many people will start believing the lies. Because there's a lot of them out there. It's called coordination. Arms and legs out, parts together, knees in. 3, and 4, 1, and 5. From here, turn around. Like, think you can come up with some of your own fake Pilates packs? I'm sure you can. And Joe played the original Claw in Inspector Gadget, that's why I never saw his face. And back rowing. And again, you can do all of this sitting on the ground. What helps with that is if you actually use 2-pound weights to hold in your hand as you do that. Speaking of which, these are our 2-pound weights. So if you're doing this on the ground, it will look a little like so. Go back where you can, arms out, come down, lift up. You can interlace the fingers if you want, and stretch. So, drink, back rowing, 2. The nice thing about doing this on the reformer is obviously you get the feedback from the machine. I really was planning on lifting rather heavy today, but I just kind of need to get moving instead. I think you can always just change whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Anyway, front run, again, grab those weights, press up and out. Every time your arms move, you think about creating more distance between the crown of your head and your tailbone. All the way up. Number 3. Here we're going to flex our feet, slide the hands along the floor, try to reach those hands under your heels, roll up one vertebra at a time, and then all the way by the ears, and circle. Number 2. All the way up. Inhale. Cross our legs. Hands behind the head for shaving. I never want to shave my hair like this, however, that's what we call it. Not to be confused with skull crushers, one of those elbows wide. We don't want to be coming back here like so. 4, 5. I'm going to keep my arms up. Cross legs the other way. A better instructor can do this without wiggling their feet. I'm not that instructor. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you're ever wondering about why we only do especially with a lot of these exercises, the philosophy I was told that Joe had was do a few, doing well, and move on. And that's where you do get a little bit of that cardiovascular work from. Now, this exercise is called Swan, and I gotta be honest with you, fucking hate doing it on there. So, drink. I'm gonna do it on the actual barrel tonight because I can actually slide out. And a big part of this really is to get extension in your spine. So on the barrel, I put my feet behind me on top here. And if for whatever reason you don't have any of this equipment to do at home, you can do a cobra stretch on the ground and feel just as nice. I'm pressing my hips into the barrel, reach back, come forward, slide out, try to come up a little bit more, and pull my abs in and sweep around. Number 2, and then I'll reach back. Can I get the mirror? Oh, got it. Shoot back, arch, and scoop. And do one more here. Then go back, reach the mirror, got it. Whoa, out, and around. Alright, not the best I've ever done, but certainly not the worst. Let's bring it back over here. Alright. So, here we do pull straps. Again, if you're on the ground, this is just some weights in your hand. So if you're on the ground, it would look a little bit more like so. Just arms by your side, and arms by your side. There we go. Squeeze my heels together. Right, those arms on the ground. Lengthen the spine, and down. Number 2. Down. One more, number 3. From here, I'm going to come down the little divots. I'm going to pull my arms back so I look like the capital letter T. Maybe bring the arms back a little bit further, and return. Number 2, trying to go into your neck too much, and back. And keep pulling those abdominals up and off the mat if possible. Now from here, get the hands in my hands. I'm going to step off to the side for a backstroke. This is not something that we're going to pull. We'll sink, but knuckles above my head. With my arms long as go up, the goal is to not let the carriage move. Open off to the side, circle and hold, and come back. Number 3. Number 4. One more, number 5. Back. Now tees are up. Take off the spring and back down. Now if you keep noticing I keep having long fingers or short fingers, my grip, I'll explain that in a second after this exercise. I don't want you to think I'm stalling. And this is the quote-unquote traditional way to do that exercise on here. And we can do a little variation. We can come up through here. And instead of pumping the arms, we can circle the legs, nice control. 3, and reverse. 2, 3, and down. Now for the hardest variation, I don't know why I'm trying to do this, but it's called shaving. And you saw me here earlier, right here, we bring the hands behind the head, and woo, Not so much on that one. 2. Nope, come on. 4. Yeah, oh, terrible. Just terrible. But that's all right. So from here, roll on off. Go down on my stomach. This is something called breaststroke. Again, it's another form of extension. We sit up 2 exercises in severe flexion. And this one gives me a chance to keep rolling more on my hamstrings, stretch my quads, and come through and just try to lift as I press into the handles. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is where having a partner do this exercise is better because they can hold your legs down and help you get even more extension, help you get up even higher, and stretch the shoulders out a little bit more. But for right now, I'm pretty good at doing things on my own. From here, I come up. There's another exercise sometimes on the barrel. It's called horseback. Now you can't see from this angle, but when I come up into this position, I'm going to be squeezing my inner thighs. What I'm looking for is the tiniest bit of light underneath my crotch. Feel free to make all these work out of your mind. Come up, squeeze this box with my inner thighs, continuously keeping those legs nice and long. 3, I'm obviously scooping in with my powerhouse to stabilize. Because if I didn't, I'd be falling flat on my ass. And I'm sorry. We're going to come back to this. Wonderful, wonderful long box. Now moving forward into the long stretch stage. Oh, I told you I was going to answer it. So you might see me go sometimes long fingers, sometimes squeezing the handle. I do this for a couple of different reasons. Number one, mainly so I can feel the exercise a little different in my arm. So if you take your palm, like so, and your finger, like this, so you can apply pressure to it. If you press in the meat, the bottom of your thumb here, press there, you'll feel your bicep engage, right? And not flex, right? It's not like rock solid, but you can feel it working. And as that is your connection to your medial nerve, median, yeah, we'll come back to it. So that's why, as I come up here and press in there, my tricep is engaged. Down here, the bottom of the pinky, where the meat of the pinky is, if I press into there with my finger, or if you press into there with your finger, you might feel your tricep engage. This is along the ulnar nerve that runs along here. So, different times, as you see me here squeezing, what I'm trying to do is press this handle into both of those type of pressure points to get the arm a little bit more involved. I'm going to do the exact same thing here on the foot bar as I do the long stretch series. You'll see some people do this, they may do this with long fingers. I prefer to do this with a closed grip so that I can get that part of my arm involved the whole time. Heels together, toes apart. This is basically a moving plank. So I'm going to press back and exhale. Two. The other reason why I like to grip is that, if you can tell from that angle, but I'm not wrapping my thumb around this bar. Number 4, I'm not doing that. So number 5, it does continue to go to my bicep and my tricep and my lats and my posterior chain and my abdominals. If I grip here, this tends to just go in my forearm. Alright, so that was long stretch. This is down stretch because I bring my knees down the mat and I'll press back through the heels and a long exhale. One more. Now, if you're having a hard time doing that at home on your own, and you are a delinquent teenager like myself, think about trying to exhale out all the pot smoke that you just inhaled. That That's really what you're trying to do, is just expel every molecule of air out of your lungs. Hope you enjoy that. Now stand up in high half toe. Okay, this is called up stretch because I've lifted my hips up to the ceiling. Inhale, I press the heels back and the hips down. I'm going to bring the shoulders all the way up and over the wrists. Keeping my chin down. I'm going to articulate back one vertebra at a time. My goal here is to look a bit like a candy cane, which is why my chin is down. I'm going to come in with control and articulate back. Number 3. Reset. 4. One last one, number 5. And reset. Come down to flat feet for elephant. Heels down, toes up. That's the way we like to elephant. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Get a massive stretch in the back of my legs while using my powerhouse. 10. Powerhouse with our abs, just so you know. Bring this foot high half toe. That leg out. 1, 2, 3. Bring this leg in. Down here and switch. 2, 3. Bring this knee in and down. 1, 2, 3. And switch. And out. 1, 2, 3, and bring this knee down. Now for the hard one, kick this leg out. 1, 2, 3. Try to get a little more of a stretch in here. Not too much, but that's all right. And switch. 1, 2, 3. And see if we can get a little bit more. No, not really. That's all right. Then come down. Now for long back stretch. Quite often you hear people call this the choo-choo train. Because you look like a little. See what happens here. Up and back. 2, 3, and reverse. And 2. Alright. From here, we slide down. Actually, no, I lied. Here, we do a fun one, which, as you know, you gotta be careful with that. So here, I'm gonna do something called head front, head back. Remember those exercises I did earlier of down stretch and up stretch? But now you're actually going to see them again. So, rumor has it, and I don't know if this is true or not, rumor has it, this is one of the few exercises Joe only taught to his male boxing clientele. I don't know if that's true or not. The guy used to do a whole lot of self-defense, one of the very few teaching women's self-defense at a time when no one else was, so I don't think he thought of women as delicate flowers. He could have, I don't know. The guy died 10 years before I was born. However, now, this is for me to start strengthening my neck. As I first start to learn this and do this, or when you first start to learn this and do this, you will put your forearms on there. 90% of the weight will be in your forearms. Eventually, you want to add 90% of the weight into your head and neck. Sometimes people will move this out into another gear to make it a little bit easier. I like to keep it in first gear, it feels a little safer for me. So I put my forearms down. I'll put the top of my head right here in the center, of this mat. Put one foot on top here and here. So I'm keeping that chin down like I was in long stretch. I inhale, pressing out with the hips and pulling my abs to a turn. Eventually, I'm not going to talk in a second and show you what the end goal is. Now I bring my hands back down simply to add in a little variation with the leg. Bring this down, bring this leg up. You saw me doing this single leg variations of elephant a second ago. This is one of those reasons why. Not the only reason, but one of the reasons why. Now from here, I want to go back into extension and strengthen a little bit more. So, that exercise earlier of up stretch, I'm sorry, of down stretch. When we were here, I'm literally going to take that and invert it. From here, my head here, press out, drop the heels, lift the heels, and return. So I'm getting a pretty massive hamstring stretch, hamstring work. I'm stretching out the calves as well. And all this control again is coming from my powerhouse. And I'm going to articulate down one vertebra at a time. All right. Now from there, we go into high scissors, a frog, short spine massage, high frog. Apparently, a little more work on my head than I thought. I like to do this because that exercise, I shouldn't say I like to do this, this is the order I was taught for very specific reasons, in the order I teach. But I just worked the shit out of those hamstrings on that exercise, and now, and with my head in extension, with a lot of weight bearing on the crown of my head, now I get to stretch all of that out. So for short spine, I press out, with the legs up and over. I keep my hips high, bring my knees down, and I'm just going to roll out, trying to keep my feet here and stretch there. Number 2. All the way up and over, knees down, and roll. Now from here, we're going to add a little bit more strength into it. I come up and over, using my powerhouse and on my arms to stabilize as I press up. It almost feels like a weird inverted squat. 4. But it's really easy to put this in your back, and we don't want to do that. And down. And the last one here, number 5. All the way up and over. Bring those knees down. And roll. Now, sometimes people add in a wrestler's bridge here, which, you know, I guess we could do. We go back to another neck strengthening exercise. I put my head here. I can't quite get my heels down, but a little bit more. Those quads are starting to loosen up a little bit. 3, 4, 5. And from here, I'm going to roll back down. So, lower this foot bar. And actually, I'm going to bring this foot bar back up. Miss that order for a second. And we're going to do some stomach massage. Stay nice and round. Again, I just did short spine, high frog to help with a little more of that flexion. Here, press out. 3. 4. You can do this on the mat if you want. This is 5. I'm going to take off the spring. Try to keep these transitions moving at this point. Number 3. Without locking out my elbows, which is really hard for me to do. 4. And 5. Take this spring up. Try not to stop the carriage. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, press and twist to the right. Press and twist to the left. 1, 2. one side. 3. Stretch. All right, nice stretch here to prepare for this next exercise of tendon stretch. Now, a few nights ago, we did a whole bunch of kettlebell swings. 100 to be exact, actually. So one of the things I like about this next exercise, here's my kettlebell swing. And now, I get to kind of invert that, and now I become the kettlebell. My arms are what's going to be stabilizing as opposed to my legs on the ground. So I'm here, and this is just a different way to hit those abdominals and to strengthen those arms. I'm going to stand up, head down. Here's the stretch I just had from my stone massage series, and keeping my arms nice and still. I'm going to press out, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we can add different variations to that. I'm just not going to do that tonight, because I don't want to. From here, I'm going into my semicircle. Generally, at a beginner and intermediate level, we do this with the foot bar down. I really like to do this with the foot bar up. Gives an amazing stretch from my quads. And I get a lot more room, so I articulate my spine as I roll down. Roll up one vertebra at a time. And I'm sorry. Now I reverse. Press out, roll down, come in, up. One more. From here, I grab my ankles, squeeze my knees, and stretch. Alright. Now, we've done a whole lot for the powerhouse and the neck and the legs. Now we're going to get into the arms a little bit more. This is chest expansion. And you can do this at home. I'll show you how to do that real quick. You're going to kind of roll the shoulders back and down. Sitting nice and tall, pulling those guys in up. You're going to pull the arms back. Turn my head to the left, to the right, to the center, and then exhale, return. You can do that with weights in your hand if you want. You can do that with nothing. Here, because I'm pulling on this, I'm going to get a little bit more work on my triceps. And as far as my positioning goes, I want to have my feet locked in, so I'm kind of holding myself on as I lean forward. Helps keep the hamstring engaged as well. I mean, this is a full body exercise, so no matter what, even my feet are working, everything should be working with glides. And then I'll pull back, left, right, center, return. Number 2, right, center, number 2. One each side. We're going to add one more spring. The thigh stretch. Again, this is a nice warm up for the semicircle. And now here, trying to keep a straight line from my knee to my shoulder. I almost got my heels to my glutes. My glutes to my heels. Whatever. Number 2. Keeping that spine nice and long. One more, number 3. I'll do between 3 and 5 of these. Now, I'm not going to do this, but sometimes, afterwards, we do a back bend here. This is something I haven't done too much of lately. So if you want to go ahead and dial 9-1, if something goes wrong, hit that other one just in case. That would be great. But more than anything else, I'm just gonna look back. I'm tired. You know, I think I can make that. Here we go. Nah, I'm not gonna do that tonight. Whew. Next time. I just felt like I had a disaster on it. I wasn't confident with it, so I'm not gonna do it. All right. Here, we're gonna do arm circles. Well, we're gonna do arm circles. I'm doing, it's called Swakti. So we're here. Remember that position I was talking about with the arms and the nerves? So we're here, pulling out and back. 2, 3. So there are different variations to do with your legs on this. 4, 5. One of my favorite ones that I saw recently that I'm not doing. Again, here's your overhead press, like when we have a kettlebell. Press up. This is with your feet in what we refer to as a frog position, with your heels together and your knees nice and wide. 4, 5. Referred to as archer. I like this because it feels really good on that lat. And I don't know if you could hear, but my shoulder just popped. 4, 5. And now from here, we work the other lat. The whole goal is to make sure you're not lunging over. So stay nice and tall, get tall and back. 2, 3, obviously this is a bit of a bicep exercise as well. 4, and 5. And now, in order to do the other side, I'm going to turn my back to you. You have to look at my ass, and you're welcome. So here's that frog position I was telling you about. Nice and wide with those knees. Because I did not do that on the other side, I'm not doing it on this side. But it's something, if you're a Pilates practitioner, something you should definitely play around with. 2, 3. One of these days I'll do this with my shirt off so you can see the muscles that are working. 5. Gotta shave all the hair off for you first though. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Which I gotta say, it's one thing that really pissed me off about getting older. I don't care the fact that I'm thinning hair on the top. It just doesn't need to move south, right? It's not like a relocation program. Bullshit. Anyway. 2, 3, 4. One more, number 5. Release on top. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright. Now, this next exercise is called a snake twist. This is a hard one to do on the floor, but you can. I'll show you that another time. And you know what? I'm just going to stick with the showing you my butt theme for a second. I'm going to come through here. The goal is to keep the carriage perfectly still while you get in position. Lift up. And press out. Stretch. And in. 2. Now that was my snake. Now here is my twist. Oh, nice pop in the back there. Now I'm going to go halfway. Come on out. And if you saw the Turkish Get the other night, you can see the similarities there. And we'll come back and adjust all that stuff another time as well. But the idea that weight training and Pilates are very far removed is absolutely incorrect.
The fun thing to do is dive into the history of physical culture. If you have any questions or curiosities about that, I highly recommend following Elaine Ewing on Instagram and on Facebook. She's been putting fucking gyms up every day in that aspect. And we're gonna be doing some old-time exercises in here, probably next week. 2. Now here's my twist. 3. And my dip. Now in that case, the idea of making a fist as opposed to keeping long fingers was only to help me keep tension in my own body while I did that exercise. Sometimes the reminder of keeping tension in your body, something like so, is just enough to get a little bit more to get the exercise done. Now we're going to prepping for another exercise in a few minutes. For right now, I'm going to do my corkscrew control arabesque. And the arabesque is a fancy way of me saying rolling off the reformer. So from here, this is my corkscrew. Again, you can do this laying on the ground, arms nice and wide, circle those legs down, around, and up. And then I'm going to reverse this, the beginning version. Intermediate, you roll back, and come down, and around. And you can do this as long as you control it. Now advance, we come up, down. And from here I go into TikTok, making sure that my legs don't drift. So when I go to the side like so, what I mean by drift, we don't want to drift that direction because I'm not really doing anything there. And back. Now from here, I'm going to slide down ever so slightly. This is my arabesque off. And again, I do this into a pistol squat. I'm going to prep here. Prep on this side. This is just to find what the carriage is. And I watch my foot as I roll off. You may see some people do something very pretty like so. I like to go here and back. Switch. And that arabesque off means it's time to grab that second long box. Again, this is all stuff you can do on the ground. On this one. Come on. Well, I went ahead and connected these a little too early. That's alright, it's not going to stop me from doing anything. Consider I flip those hands over anyway. This position. And warm up the hamstrings here. You want to get a little work in. I'm not letting my butt come up as I do this. I'm keeping my powerhouse engaged, my hips down. 4, 5, and on 5 you can stay back here. And for a deeper stretch, and to open up those shoulders, so we call this rocking. 3, 4, and 5. Drop those straps inside the well. And now, I go back to grasshopper. Again, you can just swan on the mat if you want. Come down, and I'm going to beat my heels. Like so, some people like to bend the knees and come up. I like to keep my legs straight, simply because it's harder for me to do. 4. It's really easy for me to cheat. and get up while using my legs. Now from here, and this is the hard part, so I'll slide forward, I'm going to swim, keeping my chest up nice and high, using everything in my back to keep myself from falling forward, and I almost died. Woo. And stretch. Now we turn our second long box into a short box. Now if you were following along the other night, you might remember how we did this on the floor. So if you can join me, go ahead and sit on the floor. I'm not really spitting, some sweat just keeps dripping down this massive nose of mine. I know people know I'm coming in the room before I'm in the room. That's fine. Just helps them smell other people's bullshit. Alright, so hands around your abs, roll back and up. And again, if you're doing this on a reformer, you want to break the strap of my feet from my hips. I'm driving down and pressing out. So I'm almost kind of splitting it with my knees as well. However, I'm not externally rotating from there. 3. Number 4. And number 5. You guys still following along at home, or did you fall asleep on me? Or are you watching Jeopardy with my kids? Nice and tall. Number 3. Number 4. And 5. Now just stretch. One more inside. Nice and tall. Alright, I'm going to take the right leg out and slide back for tree. I am true. That's a good thing. That's what we want. Alright, here we go. We're going to kick that leg up. 3. Keep the leg up. Walk up to the calf. And rotate that foot 3 times. And reverse. Now point, flex. Now rock back with my chin down. Slide my hands down my leg. And go all the way back to extension. Number 2. And one more, number 3. Nice and tall. Let's do the other side. 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you join me on Friday where we can kind of sweat out all the alcohol you might consume over Thursday night. Walk back. Number 2. And one more, number 3. Now, this is known as an advanced reformer workout. And one of the great things about getting short box is we're almost done. Alright, from here I have something called mermaid, long spine, knee stretch series. We're gonna do running and pelvic lift, and then some fun push-ups and some other fun stuff. All right, so start here. You can do this on the ground. You sit on the ground like so. You're gonna hold your feet, come up and over, and stretch. But since I have this piece of equipment, I get this extra stretch. Come back through, and from here, come over, reach, and back. Number 2. One more, number 3. Alright. Now, again, so I turn my back to you. Bring your hands up. Number 2, stretching and working the slide. And then getting that extra stretch on the side. And this lat is working to help stabilize as well. Number 3. Come on up. Stretch. Alright. Now we do long spine massage. You can find a clip of me doing this on Twitch without the straps. So now I'm going to do this with the straps, just to try to get a little extra length in this exercise as opposed to hanging on for dear life. Press up, come all the way up and over. So before you saw short spine massage, this is known as long spine massage. If you're doing this at home and you feel this in your arms, good, you should. You should be using them. Number 2. And 1 more. 3. Alright. And here we can lift our head wrist up and do some leg circles and fry. And I'm just going to skip that tonight. I'm going to go right into my knee stretch series. And again, knees on the floor. Some people know this more like mountain climbers. Stay nice around here. And remember, when I transition to a flat or arch back 7, I do not want my hips to move forward at all. So I go right into that transition. 3, 4. Same thing happens when I lift my knees up. 6, 7. I'm going to curve my back. 9, 10, and go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. Now, my favorite part, running. If you've been doing Pilates for a while, you will know there is no better word than the word running when you're in a Pilates class. 6. That means you really are almost done. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. Come back in, feet off in the corners. And look, it's a slight turn out with my feet for a pelvic lift. It's like we keep coming back to a squat. Weird. It's like we never get away from those things in here. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, number 9, 10, So the last exercises in the series, and the hardest exercises in my opinion in the series, are what we do now, which are balance control, 1, 2, 3. Again, this is something that sometimes people will move out in second gear. You'll also see people do this exercise with their hands here on the shoulder blocks. Well, that's almost too narrow for me. So I will do this with my hands here. The advantage is it's a little more comfortable on my shoulder. The disadvantage is I can only go down as low as the shoulder blocks. You'll see what I mean in a second. And here, and here, and I'm going to press out. I'm going to slide this out so I kind of warm the shoulders up. 3, of course, they should be warmed up by this point. 4, 5. Now I keep the carrot still and push. 2. Now I am actively making sure this carriage does not move. 4 and 5. And I pull in with those abs to come back. So that's control balance 1. Control balance 2, put my hands here. Again, this is a bit, feels almost too narrow, but I do have the shoulder mobility to do it, so it works. And I'm here, I'm going to press back and lift the hips. So I'm actually pressing back with my hips. 4, 5, leg up. 3, 5, and 6. And now, the final one. It's called, also known as star. It's the hardest. I don't know why we like to say the hard ones for them, but we do. I'm be in this position. Now, I do this on 2 springs. I'm also 180 pounds. I know a lot of people say, you have to do this on 1 spring. You do not. You do this for what you need it on. Don't buy that bullshit. So come up here, go forward and back. 2. It's all about coordination. You may be wondering, Jeremy, why is it called star? Because that looks like side kicks. Because we do this. 2, 3, and stretch, and stretch. I'm not gonna lie, that is my least favorite of these, but it still works. Here we go. 2, 3, and stretch. And stretch. Now at this point, I'm toast. I'm going to do 1 split here. Some people like to end with 3. I like to end with, it's called 5 splits. Man, because this tends to be the tightest part of my body. And that's actually fairly recent in the past 4 years since the pandemic, because I do say still about 60% of my business online through Zoom sessions. So I'm sitting a lot more than I used to. Number 3. And then the last one. Now I know I didn't make too much of this successful to you at home. Kind of sorry, but I really needed this tonight. And stretch. And there you have it. And we're going to call it there. If you tried along at home, I hope you did really well. Whew. Now I can see if you wrote anything. Well, until the glasses start steaming up. That's alright. An hour and 2 minutes. Not bad. 5 minutes, whatever. Well, we didn't get to the chair. That'll come next time, but maybe we'll do it on Friday, maybe we'll do it the following week. Either way, it's just something to keep in mind, but there isn't going to be anything in this room. I have the luxury of doing this in a fully equipped Pilates studio. The difference is most people try to do Pilates at home and they don't have the equipment. And I have the equipment and I'm trying to show you how you can do this at home. So sometimes it'll be more like this. Hopefully you follow along. And if you watch this and it kind of helps squash or help any of your fears about possibly going into a Pilates studio and trying it because you don't think you're strong enough, or you're in shape enough, or you're limber enough, or for whatever reason you're telling yourself, I'm going to say that's not true. Come on in, and if you find someone who says they can't help you, you found the wrong person, and I'm sorry that happened. You can come find us. If you don't have a way to get to us here in person, reach out to me on social media. If I can't find a person for you, I'll walk you through some stuff. So I just really hope that you guys see that you can do this too. Because if it weren't for this, I don't know what I'd be with my life right now. I don't know what I'd be doing, but I'm here. And even though I'm alone in the studio, I'm surrounded by amazing people in my life because of the journey that I took to do this. And I hope you decide to take that step too. And with that, I'm going to go home and eat and tuck my kids in and hang out with my wife for a little bit. So I hope you guys have a great night. Eat as much fucking food as you want tomorrow. That's exactly what that day is for. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, if you will. And I love you guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you on Friday.